Hi, I'm Dr. Michael L. Johnson. I'm a board-certified chiropractic neurologist. I've been in practice in Appleton, Wisconsin since 1983. I'm the author of this book, What Do You Do When the Medications Don't Work? A non-drug treatment of dizziness, migraine headaches, fibromyalgia, and other chronic conditions. I consult with over 1,000 chiropractors across the country. You can look at our website, lifechangingcare.com. That is all one word, lifechangingcare.com. I'm here today to talk to you about thyroid conditions. Now, I'm going to tell you how to finally end your thyroid nightmare. What makes us different from every doctor you've seen out there? Well, we treat you neurologically and metabolically. But before we get into that, let's just cover some of the thyroid symptoms. So do you continue to struggle with chronic thyroid symptoms day in and day out? Let's look at symptoms of hypothyroidism. And I'm going to tell you the number one cause of hypothyroidism is an autoimmune thyroid. Your immune system is attacking your thyroid, also known as Hashimoto's disease or Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So symptoms of hypothyroidism: fatigue, tired or sluggish, cold hands and or feet. You require excessive amount of sleep to function. You gain weight easily. You have difficulty or frequent bowel movements. You're depressed, or you suffer from depression, lack of motivation. Morning headaches that wear off as the day progresses. You suffer from thinning hair, excessive hair falling out. You suffer from dryness of the skin or scalp. You suffer from mental sluggishness. That's hypothyroidism. Hyperthyroidism, you have heart palpitations, inward trembling. You have an increased pulse even at rest. You are nervous and emotional. You suffer from insomnia. You suffer from night sweats. You have difficulty gaining weight. Now, Hashimoto's thyroiditis is a combination of both of those symptoms. So you could have symptoms from hypo and hyper. So your thyroid gland runs your metabolism. It's the gas pedal of the body. So let's talk about this. Thyroid hormones have a direct effect on most organs, including the heart, which beats faster and harder under the influence of increased thyroid hormones. This is why heart problems are related to the thyroid. T3 is the more biological active hormone. It's more important for cellular function. And in fact, most of T4, 80%, is converted to T3 in the body's peripheral tissues. So T4 is just a precursor to the more active hormone T3. This is why when you run a thyroid panel, you run more than just TSH, because so many doctors just run TSH. It's crazy. And we're going to get into what should be run on a thyroid panel shortly. One of the problems in some thyroid disorders is that you have trouble converting T4 to T3 in your tissues. Have you been checked for this? Most haven't. This can create a deficiency of T3, disrupting the body's ability for proper regulating metabolism, leading to specific symptoms. There are some clinicians that are treating thyroid conditions with iodine. If you're taking iodine, I feel it's one of the worst things that you could be doing. I do not recommend iodine in the treatment of thyroid condition. There's a good friend of mine, Dr. Karazian. You need to get this book. It's called Why Do I Still Have Thyroid Symptoms? You know, Dr. Karazian compares to using iodine as like throwing gas on a fire. So I'm here to offer you new hope. If you're watching this DVD, you or someone you love is suffering from a thyroid problem. We don't leave any stone unturned when it comes to getting to the exact cause of the problem. One thing I'm going to ask you, have you ever been checked for your thyroid antibodies, TPO and TGB? My guess is no. Then how do you know if you have an autoimmune thyroid? How do you know if your immune system is attacking your thyroid? I had a lady come in to see me with symptoms, both hyper and hypo. I said, you're autoimmune. We run her TPO antibodies, it's 900. Normal is 0 to 9. Nobody ever checked it. Her immune system is attacking her thyroid. We ran sensitivity testing. She's sensitive to everything, and we're going to get into that in a minute. So I'm going to guarantee you that no one has told you about what I'm to tell you, what makes my program unique, and how I successfully treat your thyroid problem. How do I do it? Well, I treat you neurologically and metabolically. We're going to do sensitivity testing. We're going to check and see if you're sensitive to gluten, milk, soy, eggs, and yeast. The one lady I just told you about, she was sensitive to all of them. If you're sensitive to gluten, what is gluten? It's wheat, rye, oats, and barley. If you're sensitive to gluten and you have an autoimmune thyroid, every time you eat gluten, it is eating away your thyroid, little by little. That is a fact. So here are some of the symptoms of these sensitivities. Chronic pain or fatigue, frequent indigestion, bloated after eating, frequent loose bowel movements, constipation, mouth ulcers, or they vomit often. You need to run the test to see if you're to find out if you're sensitive to any or all of those foods. You want to look at, and next is the blood work. Now, here's the thing. People with thyroid conditions always tell, oh, my blood work is normal. There are lab ranges that are very broad, folks. Like TSH, for example, is 0.5 to 5.0. Optimal ranges are a lot narrower. Your TSH optimal range should be 1.8 to 3.0. So we run a complete metabolic panel, a complete, not a basic, a lipid panel, a CBC with autodifferential. You know, we can assess your adrenal glands, liver, kidneys, red and white blood cells. All of these can be affected when you have a thyroid condition. What other thyroid tests are necessary? Well, you've probably all had a TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. This is the message sent from the gland in the brain called the pituitary gland to the thyroid. We want to check free T3. This is an important hormone produced by the thyroid gland, considered to be more biologically active hormone of the thyroid. Not, like I said, more T3 than T4. T4, another important hormone produced in the thyroid gland. Thyroid binding globulin. This test measures the amount of proteins in the blood that transport thyroid hormones to cells. Thyroid antibodies, just what I told you. TGB and TPO antibodies. Have you had them tested? I doubt it. And if you have, they haven't done anything for you other than increase your medication. You want to check total T4. Total T4 is a reflection of how much total T4 hormone there is in the blood. You want a free thyroxine index, FTI. This is an estimate of how much thyroxine is in the blood. Finally, you want a resin T3 uptake. This test measures the unsaturated binding sites in thyroid proteins. Folks, you need all of those tests done. If you have a thyroid condition, you need every one of those tests done. If you don't get them done, you're not getting to the root cause of your problem. So you need sensitivity, you need complete blood work, you need a complete thyroid panel. You also want to look at your adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands are your stress glands. Sits right above your kidneys, an adrenal stress index. You want to look at immune panels. Like I said, if you have an autoimmune thyroid, your immune system is attacking your thyroid. And if you're hypothyroid, autoimmune thyroid is the #1 cause of hypothyroidism. So, what do? Well, there's two parts to your immune system, Th1 and Th2. Th1 is measured by blood markers. It's a blood test called interleukin 2 and interleukin 4. Th2 is measured by interleukin 4 and interleukin 10. So, Th1 is interleukin 2 and TNF alpha. I misspoke there. And interleukin 4 and interleukin 10 are Th2. So you want to measure that. You want to see if one is dominant. You see, your Th1 are your T cells. Your T cells are a part of your immune system that go and attack and then clean up afterward. Helper T cells, suppressor T cells, regulatory T cells, macrophages, natural killer cells. Th2 part of your immune system are B cells. B cells make antibodies. They tell the T cells what to attack. This is extremely important. So again, Th1 is interleukin 2 and TNF alpha. Th2 is interleukin 4 and interleukin 10. If you're Th1 dominant, interleukin 2 and TNF alpha, one or both, are high. If you're Th2 dominant, interleukin 4 and interleukin 10, one or both, are high. Then you want to find out what's the cause of the dominance. Is it an active antigen or is it dysregulation? What is an active antigen? Active antigens are parasites, bacteria, viruses, mold, yeast, fungi, protozoan, foods, chemicals, and heavy metals. The best indicator for an active antigen